always wanted to do this, feel like James Bond, right? So what I just did is actually a great show of the innovation that you can do on top of the S60 platform. So what I had is a wonderful N92, use the accelerometer, and Bluetooth, and a third-party application to actually control the car, exactly like James Bond. So I would like to talk to you today about future of computers instead of future of smartphones, as the program says. I think it is actually time to recognize what we have in our hands today, that they are, instead of just smartphones, they are really full-fledged computers, and we should really call them what they are. But let's start by looking at the key trends in the industry, and I'll explain more why I think that they are really today computers than smartphones. So if you look at the capabilities of mobile computers today, whether it's a processing power, whether it's the onboard amount of onboard memory, whether it's the display quality, display resolution, whether it's the always online broadband access, the width of the broadband pipe into the what I would call a mobile computer, the open internet technologies, the devices really being full internet nodes. I really think that they have entered the day when they really are full-fledged computers, mobile computers, much more personal than what used to be called a personal computer. They are enabling you to use all your internet applications, even the ones which you have been used to using in a fixed line environment, anytime, anywhere. The mobile computers are really becoming the main source for both consuming media as well as creating new media on the internet. Really start to drive the whole internet as such. Also, if you look at from an innovation perspective, these computers are becoming really the nodal point for innovation in the internet. Whether you look at it from a hardware perspective, chipset manufacturer, software perspective, or from an internet services perspective, really being the hotspot for innovation in the whole internet. Nokia has been the pioneer of creating these kind of devices since 2002, when we first launched the first Symbian S60 product, the Nokia 7650. And it is a great, really a pleasing thing to see that our vision back then is really becoming reality today. I would actually say that we, the people in this room, we are really at the heart of the internet evolution. And I think it is a very, very exciting place to be. The second key trend is about the evolution and communication. If you look at the way people communicate today, the communication has evolved beyond kind of a person-to-person, kind of a making phone calls. It's much more of a one-to-many type of a communication today. You only look at the social networking happening in internet. It really is about communicating to the whole community, having kind of both on a social networking side as well as then in internet chat side. It is much more and more important today for individuals being part of a community, whatever that community may be. It may be Facebook, it may be Flickr, it may be MySpace, whatever your favorite community then is. And if you think about it, when this being more and more personal, more and more important for you, actually these mobile computers are actually the way to be participating into those communities, rather than the laptop or your desktop. Then the third key trend is context, which I say here, creating the next generation web. So what do I mean by context? When you think about the internet services, the web consumed by these personal mobile computers, all of a sudden a new dimension called context is appearing, which is about the context that you are consuming the services, the experiences in the internet. It is about in what place am I today? I am standing here in front of you. What time of the day it is? Who are the people close here? What kind of a situation am I in? Which allows then the service creator, the application creator, the service itself actually to adapt in a perfect way to the situation where I am in right now, which actually is a huge opportunity to re-innovate just about anything that we have seen in the internet. I think it is almost offers us, again, us in the room, almost unlimited opportunities to innovate and recreate new value. In Nokia, we really have the context in the heart of our strategy. We have decided to participate in four solution areas in creating really solutions, and the context is in the heart of every single one of our service solution areas. If I look at a few examples, which it could be or is today already, navigation would be an easy example where your traditional personal navigators on a dashboard have been fixed to one situation only, which is driving a car from one point to another one. But when you think about it, what we have today in our S60 devices, it's not only the dashboard from A to B, how do I get from one point to another one, but you can actually take it away when you park your car and you walk out, and then you are in a different context. You are pedestrian and you have a pedestrian navigation all of a sudden with you. So the service actually is adapting to the situation where you are in. Other example would be messaging. Let's take that as an example, where if you look at the chat today, you only see whether somebody is available or not, what's the presence information today. But what if there would be not only the presence information, I am available, but where am I right now? What kind of a situation am I right now? I bet that would spark completely different type of a communication behavior when, think about the younger generation when seeing where your friends are, you know, going into movies or being at the mall or whatever the situation they may be. The chat actually gets to be completely different type of a person, kind of as a personal tool, as a personal media to share experiences and be part of a social group. Again, the context really being the big enabler, actually creating a new type of a behavior, a new type of a service experience. It's an easy trap to fall into, which many industries and many consumer goods actually have fallen into, where people just add more and more functionality in order to drive the average selling price up, the profitability up. I think the traditional example would be VCRs, where, you know, instead of just watching the VCR, then the VCR manufacturer added more and more and more functionality to the point that, you know, all that is left is the blinking light, which nobody can anymore program, and the whole VCR disappearing in the obscurity by adding actually too much so that nobody actually can use it anymore. In really thinking through that what these devices should be doing, it all has to start with the consumer. At Nokia, we really have the consumer in the center, at the heart of our strategy. All of our product development, all of our service development, all of our activities really stem from what do we believe, what our research says that the consumers really want, and how can we add value to the consumers. I think we were the first mobile phone company back in 90s really realizing that the mobile phones is a diverse consumer market which really requires a segmented range, differentiated offering to different parts of the consumer space, and really having everything start with the consumer. So how do we do this? I believe that we have a superior consumer understanding driven by the consumer segmentation studies that we have done. Now, just completed the third wave of consumer segmentation study during this fall, where we have now interviewed over 100,000 consumers around the world. And 1.5 hours each on an intensive interview on their basic communication need at large. You can imagine how much information you can extract from an individual talking about the in-depth for 1.5 hours on their needs and desires on a given space. If you look at the kind of the figures, that means in practice it's 12 billion data points that we have gathered. Now done this 3 times 3 waves over the time, really can start to see the movements in how the consumer behavior, how the consumer wants and desires are changing. We have identified 13 distinct segments in the consumer space which have distinct needs in their communication needs, and these segments are driving the product development in the company. I think for us in the room, I think the most interesting thing on the recent Wave 3 results is that when you look at the mapping that I have on here on the screen, it goes from, on one hand, low involvement to a high involvement, and then on the other hand, from rational to aspirational. And what we are seeing really in the world today, and this actually applies to all markets, that people are moving, the consumers are moving from kind of a lower left-hand corner to upper right-hand corner, which means that they are getting more involved and more aspirational. And that is fantastic news for all of us in this room. What this means in practice is that people are more anticipating and willing and excited about the new technologies. They are more willing and anticipating and prepared to try out new services, new applications. They are more excited about what we can create as an industry for them. And this is absolutely a fantastic, this was the best news of this fall, I would say when we found this out, and this was undeniable, very much statistically proven that this is the direction. Now, looking at the examples, how are we using this segmentation to drive our thinking? A very important segment is really in the top right-hand corner, a segment called technology leaders. They are really the leading consumers, the first ones really looking at the new technology, embracing new technology, seeing new technologies as an opportunity. They are very positive towards mobile entertainment, highly sociable, and really the audience which is defining basically the behaviors for the rest of the people in the years to come. First ones to adapt the new behaviors, new technologies, and so on. This is the crowd that we designed first, the Nokia 7650 back in 2002. It's the audience towards which we have today the N96, and I believe that it is the segment which is really overrepresented in this room today. Very important segment. Now, when we look at this little bit broader, as an example, again, not going through all the segments, but how this is reflected in the range that we have today. Like I said, technology leaders, latest technology, really integrated services, new experiences, really ready to jump on whatever the new thing is. It's an N96. That's how the whole N96 and the experience around and on top of N96 has been designed. Then we have the young explorers, which are highly sociable, looking for the entertainment. It is about music. It is about sharing, which is important for them. That's the crowd that we have created, the Nokia 5800 Express music, and really the comes with music concept at large, really the whole end-to-end offering there. And then the third important segment I want to highlight is the pragmatic leaders, where is the basic need that this crowd has is that how can I make myself more efficient, both in my personal life as well as in my work life. And again, the Nokia E71 is the perfect tool really for these people. It is about the email, the whole mobile office. How do I make myself more effective, both in work life as well as then in my private life? But creating just a beautiful product is not going to be enough going forward. That may have been fine in the past, but that's not going to be enough going forward. There's clearly another trend in the industry, or society I would say at large, which I would call death of patience. It is about death of being, having the patience of going through the whatever the clutter that comes my way. So I would almost ask you that how many of you have recently read a manual when you have bought a new thing? How much time would you as an individual be willing to spend on a new website? So if somebody sends you a link to a new website and you don't just get it, so what's happening here? So how many seconds are you going to spend before you just click off the screen and then move on? And I would bet the average is something around 30 seconds. That's what the death of patience really is. It is about the expectation that I get it immediately. I'm not going to read any manuals. I'm not going to be, I don't need the tutorials. It just works. It makes my life easier, better, enhanced, rather than something that I have to learn. I have enough things to learn and changing in my life already. And what this means is really about looking at the solutions. If I go back to the voice era, back to the mobile phones, I think this is exactly actually what we did in mid-90s, where Nokia defined really the preferred user interface for mobile phones. And the big innovation, the big solution actually was that you don't have to remember phone numbers anymore. It was about moving from phone numbers to names, creating the two soft key menu and the whole user interface, enabling that to happen, that you remember your contacts rather than the addresses which are the phone numbers. So that was the solution in the voice era. Now, what we need to do now is really to do the same kind of thinking, but in a new context. It is about really thinking about how can we take the same kind of thinking in all the applications, solutions, services, looking at holistically end-to-end, creating the same kind of an ease of use, same kind of a true end-user experience. This is really the philosophy behind how we create all the OBI services. One example of this would be that you have to be able to access your digital content, whatever means you have available. That will be just the consumer's expectation. No way of explaining that no, you can't use your phone, your computer, but you can only use your phone. It has to work through your phone, it has to work through the PC, it has to work through the browser. It just has to work. And that's the expectation from the consumer. That's the attitude and the approach that we have taken in OBI services. If I take few concrete examples, how have we done it? If I take maps as an example, first of all, you can download your maps seamlessly through using your PC, using your DSL connection with a Nokia Maps loader into your phone. So no need to actually do it on the go if you don't want to. You can choose whatever means you want to use. When moving forward, with the upcoming maps on OBI, you can actually plan your routes on your PC and then transfer the optimal routes to your device. It's not that you couldn't do it on the device itself, but if somebody wants to do it on a PC, that's exactly what we need to enable people to do and make that the whole thing a seamless, effortless experience. And you can of course navigate, search the world around you, regardless of what media you are using, whether it's a PC or the browser or your phone, and actually getting your bookmarks, your friends, and the places of interest seamlessly synchronized to your other media to the same content. If I take the example of Nokia Music, it's a very similar one. It is about complete solution where you have to have access to your music collection through your PC, through your phone, and so that you can actually choose as a consumer what is the window to my content that I want to have today. It is about buying. I can buy wirelessly on my device when I so wish. I can buy it on my PC if I so wish. I can create the playlist. I can seamlessly again make the complexity disappear and really create a seamless, complete, end-to-end experience. In music, it's actually it's a wider thing than just the service and the device itself. Actually, it goes also to hardware, for example, where really looking at the experience in terms of what kind of speakers do we put in, what kind of an experience do consumers want in music phones, what kind of playback times do people want, what kind of hardware capabilities, what kind of accessories, headsets, connectivity overall, really the total experience. It really is from understanding the consumer, what they want, and then really looking at the whole experience rather than just a piece of it. Now, moving a little bit more into the future, so people ask, what's the next big thing? And let me make a kind of my claim on this. If you look at the mobile computers, what they have become and what they will be in, let's say, next 5 years' time, you will have limitless processing power, limitless memory, so to say. You have all kinds of sensors, you have GPS installed, you have with LTE really a broader band access than what you have on a landline today. We are entering really an era where you can start to think about overlaying your digital world and your physical world wherever you are. And I think that's a very, very, very interesting concept as such. So let's take an example what you could do with this. So overlaying the digital world on a physical world. So standing in front of, say, Madison Square Garden, and I point my device to Madison Square Garden, why wouldn't the device actually say that who is playing tonight? Where can I buy tickets? How much are the tickets? What is happening? If I point to my device into the crowd here, so what would stop me from actually seeing what Jonas is in internet community? So what his nick is in the chat, and what kind of behaviors he has, and what his recent activity in the Facebook has he had. Really overlaying what the digital world and the physical world are. I mean, if you really think about what kind of possibilities this kind of a technology merging has, this will, I believe, truly revolutionize the whole internet as such. Now, how are we going to do it? So what are the enablers? What are the key enablers that to really realize the vision that I laid out? First thing I think is the S60 on Symbian. Whether you look at it from, it really is the operating system leading the innovation today in the world. Whether you look at it from a volume side, today 180 million handsets already today shipped. It has the widest operator support. In practice, every single operator in the world is embracing S60. It is the platform for open internet, open innovation. It does have the largest developer community by far compared to any other mobile computer operating system, by far. Nobody else can really be even talked in the same sentence. It really is bringing the power of mobile and internet together. And if you look at the user experience, I think it offers the best and most compelling user experience out of any of the candidates in the world. And again, I think the proof is in the pudding. The 180 million units already in the hands of the consumers actively used, I think really speaks for itself on the user experience. In the mobile software environment, we should kind of almost stop talking about it. It's a software environment just like any other software environment. And the approach on S60 is that you have to be, as a developer, you have to be able to use your most favorite tools. We have to enable really the innovation on top of Symbian S60. Allowing people to use the most appropriate right tools to enable really the fast innovation on top of the platform. Whether it's a C++, whether it's a Java, whether it's a Python, whether it's a Ruby, whether it's web runtimes, Flashlight, .NET, Silverlight, Qt, really picking the best enablers on top of the platform is really the approach that we have taken and continue to take. I think it is fair to say that the 5th edition now offers the widest range, the most complete set of tools for developers to really add value and innovate on top of the platform compared to any other software platform. But if I want to just highlight one, it would be Qt, which I think is a very, very important one. It really is the most complete cross-platform capability, and not only, and the important thing here is it's not only on S60, it actually is portable, it works across the platform, and I think that's the future where really looking at the cross-platform application development frameworks, enablers, is the future, the direction that we need to be heading. Benoit Schilling is going to be talking about this later today in much more detail. I think it is a very, very important presentation, so I really encourage all of you to listen to this. I think, at least from Nokia's perspective, this is extremely important piece of technology. It really is the most powerful cross-platform UI and application development framework in S60. Now, I've been talking about a lot of Nokia and our innovation, our way of doing, and some of you may be wondering that how much space, how much room would there be for others to innovate on our devices now that we have entered on the internet services space as well. Our approach really is that we are very open. It is fully embracing all innovation wherever that happens, whether it's inside of the company or externally, through the partners, application developers, partners, whatever party. Collaboration in the industry is the key to really creating a bigger pie. Our approach is looking at this opportunity, let's create a bigger pie together rather than us trying to grab the biggest share of a small pie. Really creating a bigger pie creates a bigger share for all of us. I really think that that is the winning proposal going forward. If I look at the example I have here on the slide would be just the proof on the pudding would be the My Phone app here, which if I click once, what it did actually, this application, it changed the icons on my S60 phone into Apple icons. So somebody else might say, you don't want to have that to happen, and you would block that kind of an application. We would never even think about it. It would have to, I mean, this is exactly the kind of information that one has to have and has to embrace. We do not block anybody. I think the philosophy that we have is very clear. These things are computers, and on computers it is about the wealth of applications. It is about all the applications in the world, and in the end it is the consumer who votes with their own money which is the best experience. The way we want to compete as Nokia, we want to be innovating faster and better and everything else, but in the end it is the consumer who has to make the choice, not us. It's always the consumer. I very, very strongly believe that an open ecosystem in the long run always wins over an ecosystem which is run by a captain, or should I call it a dictator. So let's see some of the third-party applications. So today, just on numbers, we have more than 10,000 applications available for Series 60 platform. Consumers can discover these applications from hundreds of different websites and services today. And I want to use this opportunity to actually show a interesting application by a company called Whirl, which is a innovative context-aware social networking service. So let's run a short video describing what it is.
Product that does something we call social discovery. Social discovery is the intersection of local discovery and social networking. Fundamentally, what we let you do is see the world through the eyes of your friends. So you can look at a map on your Series 60 device, see little green icons all around you for places that your friends like, see little red icons for places your friends don't like, other color icons for places they've been and interacted with. You can see also where your friends are and what they're up to. Here we are in Whirl's home screen. You can see I have a variety of options. I'm going to start off by going straight to the map and seeing what's going on around me. You'll see there are dozens of interesting places around here. Many of them are in light blue, so those are places that are in our database. We have a database of millions of places across the US, bars, restaurants, clubs, movie theaters, and so on. And then these brightly colored icons, like this green one here, are places that my friends have actually rated highly. So I can very quickly, visually, just filter through and see what are the interesting places according to my friends. So I'm going to look at the details of this particular place, Queen's House, that stands out because it's got a bright green icon there. I can see address, name, phone number, but also a lot of details like the business hours, cuisine type, payment options, and then beyond that, features. So for example, we can see this place serves beer and wine, although it doesn't appear to have a full bar. When I go there, I can check in, and that will alert my friends or notify them that I'm actually at this place. Then I will show up on their maps. They can get SMSs if they've registered for them to let them know that I'm here. And I also notice just down below, here's another icon of a person. This is what my friends would see of me. In this case, this is a friend of mine, John, who happens to be nearby at a restaurant called Cascal.
Wow, isn't that cool? And by the way, it is in a direct competition with our Nokia Map service. So as a point on also what kind of an innovation you can create, very cool service. And it is about, again, the consumers choosing which is the right, the most coolest, the best application they want to use, the experience they want to use. Now, finally, I want to say a couple of words on the Symbian Foundation. I think it is truly a huge milestone in this industry, in the converging industry, or should I say in the internet industry as a whole. It truly is the mobile software set free. It is the biggest open source move by anybody anywhere in any industry. It is combining really a combination of, you can see the logos here, of who is who basically in this industry. The top handset manufacturers, all the top operators, hardware companies, software companies, service companies, really the who is who in this industry. It is the ultimate open community. And I believe this move will make Symbian Series 60 the world's leading mobile software platform. And here I really want to extend actually the world's leading internet service platform. So if I try to summarize, the first point I want to make is the contextual web, which is a big opportunity. It is the next evolution, it's the next phase in the internet development, and it's a big opportunity, both for Nokia and I believe everybody in this room. Our strategy is really starting always with the consumer in the center and in the heart, then creating complete solutions for people. Not just pieces of it, but really thinking about holistically end to end. And I encourage everybody else to do the same. We fully embrace the third-party innovation, and I really think that we have a fantastic opportunity ahead of us, all of us in this room. And I think here I would call that let's really work all together to make this opportunity to really come true. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Keynote.